Hello, this is presentation of Just Broadcast Ultimate Playout, our most powerful playout. Comparing to other three playouts, Ultimate is a multi-channel playout, which means you can run up to 4 different channels in one playout system. Also, it is a client-server application, which means you can put playouts in one PC in the network and control playouts from other PC or schedule playout from third PC. So you can split your work on multiple people. Also, comparing to other three playouts, this one doesn't have limitation of outputs, so only limitation is your hardware, nothing else. Ultimate has several applications in one system. The most important is this one, central server, which is the brain of our system and the communicating device. As you can see, this is my test PC, so I register 16 playouts, but maximum is 4 playouts per one system. And you can see here green dot if playout are running and red if playout are not running. You can see active users here. You can create multiple users and give them different rights. So one person can control, I don't know, E9 PC playout, another person can control playout builds. It's up to you to decide. Administration is where we set up everything. This is a window to create users and to give them rights. So click change data and then you can add more playouts to this user, and also you can add which channel in scheduler person can work in. This is a channel window. Here you can create new channels. There are many options for each channel. I will just run through them. For example, you can use for background color bar, color, image, video file, but also you can use emergency list. If there is no main playlist running, then if you select emergency list and select files, then playout will run those files and it will never stop. These are graphic settings. For each channel you can select default CG for each automatic layer. Again, multiple settings, transition, subtitle settings. This is again important feature. Categories. Each folder and each file is categorized in playout, so you can have program, movie, commercials, breaks, or you can create your own categories. The most important thing is that each category controls showing of graphics and other things. For example, as you can see here, program, it can show logo, show graphics, show program title, subtitle, and so on. So each time there is on-air program file, it can show these graphics, of course, if you set up these graphics. But if it, for example, get intro, it won't show graphics. So if there is graphic, when intro file starts, graphics will automatically remove. Then you have DTMF sender and receiver options, Scotty markers, again sender and receiving option, and operation with frames. Imagine you're taking for example URL from some other TV and they have their own commercials and they don't have Scotty markers, but you want to replace commercials. Then you can set one frame in jingle or intro or anything, save it, and then playout will compare frames, and if it finds that frame it can start some action, for example play block. Again, when out frame is there, you can say, okay, when you find out frame, then you can continue with live, and playout will return to live. This is a playout list. For each playout you can select a channel. One channel can be run on multiple playouts, resolution of your playout. Playout has two types of recorders. It can record output of playout, but also it can control input. So for output it will record everything, CG, HTML, main video, picture in pictures, whatever your output is. For input, it can record live input via decklink cards or NDI, and also it can record URLs. Then multiple options like Scotty markers, DTMF. You can even have different logo on each output, transcoding without re-encoding, turn off operation with frames. There are three built-in engines. Standard mode without picture-in-picture, simple picture-in-picture, and 2D picture-in-picture, which is the most complex, and you can do many interesting things. Again, some settings, not important. You have option for file decoder. You can use CPU or NVIDIA. Some safety features. If there is some problem, you can set how playout will act in that particular moments. Here you can create your outputs. We have this NDI testing output, but if you click new output, you have really big selection. Cards, UDP, RTMP, secure RTMP, DVB stream, UDP, SRT, DVB, SRT, RTP, RTP Pro, MPEG stream, direct show, NDI, HDMI, and plus options, which are sold separately, are HLS, Dash, and IS. So let's just create one stream, for example UDP. You can select video format. The most important thing is that video format doesn't need to be the same as playout format. So for example, you can have full HD playout, but you can have output full HD, and also you can have PAL output if you want, or 720p, however you want. Same thing for audio. Then we select network adapter. This is my local host. I have NVIDIA card, and it's always better to have NVIDIA card for encoding process audio. Then you put IP address and port, package size, provider. There are a few more options, but this is the most basic. And now we click OK, and if we take a look at the playout, you can see our new output is running. And now you can create multiple outputs, of course. Then inputs, you can use everything which computer sees, like Blackmagic cards, NTI, and even those vMix direct show options. And of course there is option for playout to control some external matrix, and this you can set up your matrix. And of course some settings, email settings, if you want playout to warn you when it stops, when it's not playing, and so on and so on. It can also automatically send you playlist on email, and this is some matrix control settings. Here you also has EPG option. EPG can be run for each playout in system, for each channel in system, and also you can automatically upload it to FTP. As for EPG format, this is most used format in entire world. And it's automatic, and you can say do EPG in every 6 hours and look for next 7 days for program. Of course you can change it however you want. As ROM backup, playout has option to record every file which was played in database, but from time to time you must do a backup, because if you have too many files it can go to really high numbers and the application can slow down a little, so it's always good to do backup once in a month or 3 months, 6 months. This is matrix control and some backup settings. That's all about central server. Then we have playout. This is a playout. It's very simple application where you can see only preview, some basic items, counters, name of the file playing. Here you can see live input and URL if they are on, of course. On the left you can see your outputs, and you can do setup all your outputs. In central server we do just basic setup, and if you want nice setup to set up everything. Then you go here and you have all options here to set your output. Here you can see decoding process if there are any errors and stuff like that, also for live and URL if they're on. You can see also the encoding process for each of the outputs. So you have color and audio filter settings, you have audio normalization, or you can use compressor, it's up to you to decide, some color options and audio preview options. This button is when you add some new hardware, just click here and it will find new hardware. Also there are some situations where when people have some hard drive which automatically goes to sleep, and then with this option you can just ping hard drive not to go to sleep. I will just turn both recorders in this playout just to see how it looks. Output recorder, input recorder, and now if you look at the playout, sorry, wrong playout, this one. And now we can see here, this is a output recording option, and here we have line in recording options. And that's everything about playout. It's very simple and it's not connected to remote control like in other three playouts, which improves stability a lot. Now this is remote application where we can control our playouts. On the left you can see one channel, on the right is other channel, and these two blank fields are for two more channels to control. This is a playlist, this is just for view, and if you want to work on playout then you can click show channel button, and then you will have same interface as you can see in other three playouts. Of course, only difference is this playout has much more features. I will just fast run through this. On the left is a preview where you can drag drop each file and test it, file live, URL, whatever you want. Or you can have time here, some playout status, you can see all the shortcuts, about window. Up here are counters, playlist countdown, item on air, to next item. You can select to next live, to next fixed item, whatever you want, next URL. Currently playing files, start and end time. Here you can see all the CG which is on currently. I will just switch this playout to full HD so you can see graphics better, because all the CG was made for full HD. And here is all the CG, logo, weather and time in different cities. Duration of playlist, end time of playlist, items in playlist. This is our main playlist in the central. On the left, playlist commands. You can create placeholder, stop command, add block, add node. You can manually start CG, you can manually end CG, you can change out to CG. You can add CG event, that's just a CG without video behind. You can change volume in any moment. You can add Scotty marker, matrix command, and also you can start stop recorder if you need it. Here you can create your own commands. Then here you can create hotkeys for each operation in playout. This is the list of automatic time slot. There is option in playout to do everything automatically, so you just create a pattern how you want your files to be edited. For example, give me 3 files from folder A, then 2 files from folder B, and then 1 file from folder C, and let it last for 2 hours. And then you just add this automatic time slot, and playout will add files for you. Also, it won't repeat files until all files in particular folder are played. And also you can give many different properties, what to add and how to add. And here are settings. One of the important thing is that playout can work in two different modes. You can, as you can see in this mode, playout leaves played items in playlist for 24 hours. But if you don't want that, then you can just click this option, and now when file is played, it will automatically be removed from playlist. And these are options if you want to cut CG, not to show at all. This window has different layouts. You can play with them, you can create your own layout and record it. Each window can be moved, and you can place it wherever you want. As I told you, time slot. This is one time slot. Let's open one time slot. This one. And now let's make something new. For example, we want time slot for 2 hours, and now we can add folders, and then we want something from this folder, from this folder, from this folder. Okay. Then we can select order. We can go by ABC, random, by season, date. Then you can select different duration. For example, we want only files from 2 minutes to, let's say, 5 minutes, and so on and so on. There are many options for this. You can put some intro file before this, and then when you add this, playout will automatically select files from this folder, from these 3 folders, and add it to your playlist. So basically you can create automatic playout. That's it about time slot. Then on the right, as in all other 3 playouts, there is a file window, live, URL, block, CG. This is new action, lists, and as run. As for files, as I said before, you must create good folder structure in your hard drive, and then which means folder for movies, folder for program, folder for documentary, folder for everything you need. And then you just have to categorize that folder like this. Let's see if we have something new. Whenever you add something new to hard drive in the folder file, or delete file, or rename file, whatever you do, you just click check for changes, and the playout will now search in selected folders. Here it is. And it added 3 new files. So let's add one folder just for test. Just for test, we'll add one folder. We'll call it, oh, there is already test. We'll call it new test, and just add some files in it. New test. Okay. And now I created folder in this media large folder, which I already have in playout. So when I click check for changes, playout will find one new folder, and it asks us to categorize it. So let's say it will be intro. So we click on the category here, and then click on the folder and confirm changes. And this is it. It's registering file, checking other files, and one new folder added, 4 files added. And if we go to media large, now we have new test. Again, we can go to media large, new test, and we can delete, for example, 2 files from hard drive. Again, check for changes, it search for changes, and now you will see that playout will ask us 2 files are not found, are you sure, do you want to delete, are you sure, yes. And as you can see, there are no more 4 but 2 files. And also we can delete the entire folder, and again check for changes. 1 folder is not found, are you sure to delete, yes. And no more new test folder. Very simple to use. To add files to playlist, just select files and do drag drop. That's all. Here you can double click each file, and let's do this one. You can preview it, you can do in out. Many options for each file data, extended data. You can set video, audio, external audio, mix audio tracks, crop, create transition only on this file, select graphics only on this file, set now next options. You can also create now next with picture and video file. You can create breaks, which means you can cut files in smaller pieces like this. For example, we want break here and we want break here. We created 2 breaks. Update, and now if we want to add this file to playout, we can use this button, insert file as breaks, and click, and here it is. It split it file in 3 parts, and then you can just get some commercials and put between each 2 files like this, for example. This is one way to add commercials. Just see what folder we were in. Let's go to this one, for example. You can also create cuts. If you want just some part of the file to be used, then just say, okay, I want to create a new cut, and I want it from here start to here end, and this is the part we created and which we can add to playlist. Very simple. Actions. This playout has one unique feature: to trigger some action at a certain point. You can trigger anything, any options you find in playout. So you can show hide manual CG, show hide auto CG, show hide change logo, show now next, promo, music title, parental advisory, weather, program title, next tab, next movie. You can start DTMF, you can start Scotty marker, matrix commands, change speed, even insert file during some file, insert live during some item playing, insert QRL during some item playing, insert block during some item playing. This block option can be used to insert commercial in certain space, certain time in file. Again, some CG of social network. You can show overlay, voting CG, start recorder in certain time, start line in recorder, show HTML, literally everything. I will just select some basic thing like show selected manual CG, then you select some CG you already created. I don't know which one is working here. Let's try this one. And action type, three action types. You can execute at exact time in file. So if this file is 49 minutes long, so you can say, okay, do it, show me this CG in 15 minutes. And that's exact time when this CG is going, sorry. And this is exact time when this CG is going to show. Then you can create another one. For example, now next, select template, and then you can repeat several times. So we want now next to be repeated 3 times during this file, and first time we want to start in 10 minutes and to stop in 40 minutes, for example. So playout will show next what's playing next in 10 minutes of file, then in 25 minutes, and then in 40 minutes of file, 3 times during the play. And also we can set again some action, for example hide logo, and we can execute it on start or end. So for example, we want logo to hide 2 minutes before file send. And now you can create as many actions for each file, or you can create actions in for all the files, and then just drag drop to playlist, which I will show a little later. And that's it. And then we have as run log, when you can see when this file was played, and you can export it to XML, Excel, or PDF. There is also option to find black frames. As you know, when you buy some program, some TV show, whatever, in most situations distributor creates a black frame in the place where commercials should go. So if you don't know where are those black frame spots, you can let playouts find it for you. So you just open this option. Literally, it's good to have this option on. Don't search after start before and 10 seconds before. We don't want to find black frames at the end. There is no reason. And now we can set the percentage of black color. In some situation it's black, but sometimes it's dark gray or something like that. And then you can select what you want to do. You can create breaks, you can add DTMF action or you can add Scotty markers. It's up to you to decide. And that's it. Just say start, and playout will find all the commercial position if they exist in the file. Very nice feature. And generally this is it. Also, when you select CG, you can preview it here. This is all the CG we selected for this file, and you can see how it looks in this window. And also playout has option to show HTML. It can show any website from internet, or you can create your own HTML as CG. So basically it has option to show HTML. Just see if there is something selected. Probably not. Let's see if this one is working. This is something from a customer. Or this one. This is a website. So this is all about files. I think everything is very easy to use, and all the options you have here for fast change if you need it. But generally when you change it, you must press update button. Also here you have preview window. You can do in out here, and the good thing is with this arrow you can send file directly on air with 2 options: replace current item and play new item, or play new item and continue current item. We'll choose the second option, and as you can see, Man of Steel is running, but this file which was playing is cut, and when Man of Steel ends, this file will just continue where it stops. That's all. Generally this is all about, yes, there are option on the right click where you can select change category if you need it. You can do multiple update you do update of multiple files at the same time. You can update items if you change item with the same name. Some searching, you can add to block. Some file options on the hard drive, like rename file, it will rename on the hard drive. Move file to other folder, again on the hard drive. Copy to other channel, again on the hard drive. And you can also show file in Windows Explorer. Here you can delete some fast delete data, reset count played, export import properties, and get images. One thing here which could be nice is if you want, you can change font, and also you can show images of each file like this. Also you can replace files in playlist, so click here, click replace, and now it asks you what you want to replace: current instance or all instance in playlist, or all instance in selected items. We'll just replace current instance, and here it is, file is replaced in playlist. Add files to block, add items to placeholder, manually add files, refresh categories, and check for changes. That's generally all about the file. Now we go to live. For live you can use Blackmagic cards or NDI. I don't have at the moment Blackmagic card installed in this PC, so I'll just show you with NDI. Probably I don't have NDI also, but this is it. You would see NDI preview here, and again options are the same as in files, but with one very important option called manual next. As you know, you can set duration of your live, for example, for 2 hours, but you never know if it will be 2 hours or 2 hours 5 minutes, or if you have football there will be penalty or not. So you can set duration, and this manual next option will continue playing live even if duration has passed, all the way until you manually press go to next item. And also here you can record live, Scotty markers for live, again set video audio option, crop, transition, set graphics, now next, action, as run, everything same as for files. To add live, press add new live event, type name, duration, manual next, and then you can select here device you are already set to be your input device, and it will get all the data. And to set live input, you go to settings, live, and then you select what will be your live input. In my case it's only NDI, but if you want something else, for example this camera, you can set it as live input. Select properties, for example, update, and now we have 2 live inputs. And now if you add new live, here you have camera also. Generally this is it. Again, window with all the properties, same thing. URL, for URL you can use any UDP, RTMP, SRT, HLS URL, or you can use some of YouTube videos, very small number, but some of them can be used. To add URL, here you add URL and name, description. You can set buffers. This is a very important thing, to set proper buffers for each type of URL, because there is a less chance for it to stop. Let's open some, for example, this URL. You can play it here. Properties, again file data. Again, if URL is UDP, RTMP, SRT, and so on, you can use manual next if you don't know exact duration. You can also record it, extended data, video, audio, crop, transition, graphics, now, next, as, run. Everything same as for files. Here you can search some YouTube videos. At the moment not working, but here you will see all videos which can be played outside of YouTube. Of course, do not try to load too many files from YouTube, because most of them won't work. They're most of them protected. Again, there is small preview window here with all the options. You can change the view of the list, same thing, same options as for files. Then you can create blocks. To create block, again, it's very simple. You select files, right click, add to block, and now you can add files to some of the blocks you already created, or you can create new block now and add files to new block now, and as you can see, new block now, and here are all the files. You can randomize items in block when you add to playlist. So let's just add block to playlist, just do drag drop, and here are all the files. This is by ABC, and also if you click randomize, then they will be randomized. Now there is one good feature here. Imagine that you want some file always to be at a certain place in block. So let's say we want this Nicki Minaj to be always on first place, and we want this Alien Ant Farm always to be on the last, and we want this Alligator to be always in 5th place. And now even if we randomize and add block, you can see Nicki Minaj on the first, Alien Ant Farm is on the last, and Alligator is on the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all others are randomized. Nice feature. Also there is option called block slot. Again, as with the time slot, you can just add when you add block to playlist, it will be just one line, and when time comes for this line to play, playout will replace them with current items from blocks. So if you're creating playlists for 2 days in advance, and if you change something in this block, this line will get current files from block. So generally, if you have some commercials which you're changing each day, you can just add this block slot, and then you change commercials, and block slot will always get the latest files from the block. Also, there is option to schedule block like this, new block now, and we can set start time, for example 8 p.m. and we want on each working day, and that's it. Every time at 8 p.m. this block will cut currently playing item and play, and after it finishes, item which was playing will just continue where it left off. Very simple. And this is all about block. Also, you can insert block on air. Click, will continue this Man of Steel, and block is playing. And Man of Steel waits for the block to finish. Then we have CG. All the CG we create in CG editor. On the left you can see all the CG we created, and these are all the layers for CG. This is all automatic. So graphics is the only manual layer, which means you can start as many graphics layers as you want at the same time, but all others are just one CG per layer, so you can only show one logo, you can only show one music title, only one now next, which is normally if you want to change logo, you won't have two logos at the same time. You're just going to change it to some other. As you can see here. Here you can find all the items for the CG, like text. The link text is same text but connected to some TXT file on the hard drive, and as you change file on the hard drive, for example TXT file, and press save, it will automatically update text on air. Time, simple time, date time, counter, stopwatch, timer, or world time. There is option to show time, world time from different cities. Then simple graphics, image sequence, rolling ticker, ticker. You can even add video file, or you can add slideshow. When you click on any item, here it will be marked, and here are all the properties of each item. This is something like Adobe Photoshop, so you can play with all the features. What's important is these animation options. If you want to do some fade, for example, when you're creating music title, it's logical to show artist and title and then after some time to disappear. So you will create this blend option and set duration. For example, we want this item to stay 5 seconds. We want in-out animation to be 1 second, and we want to delay comparing to other items 2 seconds. And that's it. And you can see it here in this animation window. And now if we click preview, all the items are there, and this will show 2 seconds later. It will last for 5 seconds and automatically disappear. That's the whole thing of this blend option. Also, you can move things up, move down, delete. You can group items if you want, or add item to existing group. And now if you move this, they will both move and they will both have same properties on the right. Also, when you select some special layer like music title, here you will have special items. So music title now is artist and title, and those fields will be automatically replaced with the artist and title fields from playout. Let me show you. If we go to file, double click on and we go to music data, and here are artist and title, and it will be automatically replaced with this text. Same thing for now next, for all the CG. Of course, when you select now next, you won't use artist and title, which is logical. And generally this is it. Also, you can, if you want to, for example, create weather CG, again you have these items here. We want temperature, we want, and for example, condition, and we can test it here very fast. City ID, we go to openweathermap.org, we select some city, okay, allow, let's say London, and we just copy this last few numbers. This is the ID of the city, and click test data, and here it is, 16 degrees, cloudy, and this is for test only. And also you can show video from playout in CG editor, but it's not working at the moment. Generally, when you click this, CG will show. I don't have idea why it's not showing now. Something is blocking probably video. And once you're finished, you just click save new scene, type name, test weather, and here it is, weather scene. So you can double click each scene to load. You can now put, I don't know, some crawling ticker, and now you have weather and crawling ticker on air. Click update scene, and that's it. And that's basically about CG editor. There are a few more options, but this is these are most important options. And as we go to CG, we can now see some music title. If it's selected, let's see. Probably set to show a little later. 15 seconds, let's put it to show in 5th second. And here it is. As you can see, this is of course it was just a basic. You will create much nicer things. Then this is a graphic layer, and as I told you, you can put multiple graphics at the same time, like this one, whatever you want, and how many you want. There is no limit. And here you can see all the CG which are on air, and then if you want to remove something, just click and say, let's say this one. Also, one good feature is that you can change any CG which is any CG item you see. So let's say this one, and we'll say this GGG to DDD, for example. Update manual auto, change manual auto CG on air. We find this GGG and we say, let's say DDD. Update text, and it's changed. So you can change everything, pictures, stickers, whatever you want while it's on air. And that's it. Here's a list of auto layers. So graphics can be manual layer, and it can be, there is no limit how many layers you can set, but also it can be one graphics. For example, if you want to connect one certain graphic for one file and to show only on this file, it has only one layer for this automatic graphics. And all the other layers automatic, you can set default by clicking here and set default CG for layer, or go to settings, and in settings select for each layer which will be your default layer. Same thing for logo. Now this is Spain logo, you can change it here. Just click change and the logo is changed. Also you can change logo by actions, you can change logo by playlist command, however you want. There is also CG scheduler, so you could set any CG to be scheduled at some time. Let's say, for example, this text, and we want start time at 15 and duration to be 1 minute, for example. And we want each Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Sunday, for example. And this is it. And when the time comes, this CG will show. There is also integration with social network. I won't explain it now. And also there is option to show HTML any website or just your HTML you created. So again, very simple, just double click and here it is. This is just broadcast website in your program. Also, let's close it. There is also multiple options for this. The good thing is this edit HTML on air. So we're on the website and now we can click anything just to see how, like something is show. For some reason it doesn't work. Again, something is blocking it in. But generally it works. Let's just try this thing. Okay. Edit on air. Okay, still blocked. Generally it works. And here you have HTML editor where you can create your, and here you can see preview you didn't see in CG editor. And this is it about CG. Then actions, I told you how actions works, and here you can create group of actions and then just add them to files in playlist. This is the icon for graphics. For actions I will now remove all the actions, and then for example we want in these 3 files we want this action group. We click action group, we select files, and we just click this button here, and as you can see all these files got these actions from the group. So there are 2 ways to work with actions: create group of actions and add to file, or create actions on the files. And this is a playlist. You have push playlist. All playlists are created in the scheduler for future day. There are 3 types of playlist. You can, let's open scheduler. This is a scheduler application which is same as remote and all the other playouts, same interface. And here you can only create playlists. You cannot control main playlist. To create playlist, just select file, drag, drop, select in which date you are creating playlist. The best thing is to create 24 hours playlist, so let's do like this: 6 AM to start playlist. There are 2 types of playlist. Playlist can be fixed and playlist can be unfixed. If playlist is fixed, then it will start at exact time. So if something is playing already, it will be cut off and new playlist will start. Unfixed playlist will just append playlist to current playlist, nothing else. To create fixed playlist, double click on the file and click on fixed time. This lock will show, which will show it's a fixed playlist. To send it to playout, you click just this option, push to playout. Playlist is pushed and ready to start tomorrow at 6. If you go to remote, you will see that playlist is scheduled and waiting. Besides creating playlist for each date, you can create playlist for each day of the week. This option, push daily recurrence list. So okay, we created this playlist. It doesn't matter the date we put it, but we can just say, okay, we want this playlist to start each Wednesday and each Friday. Okay, and now again, if we go to playout, this is our playlist, which will start each Wednesday and each Friday. And the third type of playlist is filler list. So if you have some gap between 2 files, gap you created, or any empty space in playout, you can create filler lists which are going to fill that empty space. So for example, you put fixed item at 1 and fixed item at 2, but this fixed item at 1 ends at 1:45 and you have 15 minutes left and you didn't add anything, so you don't have to worry about it. If you have filler lists, it will just fill these 50 minutes with files from filler list, so you don't have to worry. There are many customers which use playout like that. They have file at 1, at 2, at 3, at 4, and then they just add file. It will be 30 minutes, it will be 45 minutes, they don't care because they know the space will be filled with the filler list. Very, very, very easy. And these are list of filler list, and this is default filler list. And the last thing is as run. As I told you, playout record every operation and every file which is played. And now if you open this option, you can see all the files. Then you can export files, you can delete files, you can search for some files or from time to time. You have custom report editor. So there are two options how to extract as run. You can have this grid view, or you can create your own view by using this custom editor. So you just select which columns you need. For example, start date, end date, category, name. And now even you can change name and put name in your language. So it doesn't have to be name, it can be, in my language, it's called ime. That's a name. Change, and you see, this is what's going to be in header in Excel. Also you can move columns up, down, everything, and then just create custom export to Excel, and it will create report as you want. And basically this is it. There are few more features. For example, you can edit on air file, or you can check if file exists in database, if file exists on a hard drive. This is a small window where you can change properties of items in playlist. Then you have a right click here again to insert, append, delete, playlist, add action, block, cut, copy, paste. This is a good feature, paste to end. You can externally copy file to scheduler, paste from the scheduler, multi-update, export to Excel or HTML, change the look of the grid. You can change the place of the columns. Then you can loop item, you can have fixed back item, open some properties of item, update items from DB. Here you can append playlist, open, save, randomize entire playlist, randomize selected part of playlist, move items up, down, delete, delete all, delete instance, cut, copy, paste. This is a loop. You can change order of files by drag dropping files up, down. And basically this is it about remote control. There are a few more features, but these are most important. Again, in a scheduler, these are most important features. And there is also one nice application called multi-view, where you can see preview of our channel, but also you can add some live if you want to control it. Again, I don't have live, but let's just put this. This is a live. Let's add some URL. Also we can add CG, and then we can run CG on the playout from this. Well, let's run something like, I don't know, this one. Okay, not working at the moment, I don't know. And you can also have CPU monitor. Here it is. And then you can monitor your live, your URL, whatever, and then if you want, when it's time, you can just send it on air from here. It will be replaced. Here it is. And do whatever you want. Simple application, but very, very, very useful. And generally this is it. This is a small presentation of Ultimate Playout. There are a few more features, but I think these are most important. Playout can do whatever you want, basically. If something is missing, we're going to make it. It's not a problem. Thank you for watching.